All right. What is up, everyone? Caleb here, and wanted to record a Loom real quick because lately there's been a lot of things that I've been going through. Um, Decided to shut down the companies, decided to pursue different projects and get into different things. And so here I am, and I'm reviewing a lot of the content I made before that I was sharing with you guys. Maybe some of you guys watched it. Maybe some of you guys didn't watch it. I don't know. But I'm diving into work, inner work, a lot of inner work. And I am going to, in the next couple of days, come out with a challenge that I think a lot of people would benefit from. And this is coming from a place of, I just literally went through a career change. I went through a life change. I pivoted what I thought I was going to do for the rest of my life the past 4 years, and now just entering this deep unknown, right? This deep unknown, and it's one of the coolest things that I've ever gone through in my life. And so I'm going to be coming out with a challenge to be able to walk through what I'm experiencing, and maybe you guys can take something away from that. But the one thing that with this challenge I'm going to be releasing, I want you guys to know one thing, right? And that one thing is to take ownership of the way that you feel and how happy you are. I know there's a term like happiness is a term that I think gets thrown out a lot. It's like happiness, like what's happiness? And it sounds like this woo-woo thing. But generally, if you think about happiness, guys, like if you really think about happiness, okay, it's just feeling good, right? You know the days that you feel freaking amazing. You feel like you're in the best like state of mind, and everyone that you talk to can feel it. Yeah, everyone that you interact with can feel it when you're talking to them, and you're not faking it. Like you genuinely feel good, right? And maybe you're in entrepreneurship, and you're just taking the sales calls, feeling so good talking to your team, doing your projects, and then you also have days where you wake up, you might hit the snooze clock, right? You might feel very groggy. You might not even want to go to work. You might be like very unfocused, right? And feeling negative, and then something happens, and it's like this roller coaster effect, right? And that is all what I define as happiness, right? It's like your level of feeling throughout the day. And if you could feel, right, the challenge is if you can feel great 80% of your time, right? Because no one's gonna feel 100%, great. It's also great to feel like uncomfortable feelings and emotions, like anxiety, fear. It's that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? But 80% of the time, what if you could just feel great? And that's what I asked myself. I was like, okay, what if this could be a time right now where the company shut down, and it's a sign for me to go inwards, to go in and find out how is Caleb feeling, right? How is Caleb feeling about life? How's Caleb feeling about himself? How's Caleb feeling about his friends, right? I wanted to be able to learn how to navigate feelings. And so I wrote here, at the end of your life, right, you will not remember the money that you made. There's been several people, when people are about to pass away, they have those people that ask them, for advice, or, one tip, or one, thing that they could leave with the world. And a very common one is that they realize that after making millions of dollars, making as much money as possible, that they don't remember the money that they made. Or even, they don't even remember the flashy achievements. And so you think, oh, like I'm going to do my whole, work my whole life to get, make a lot of money, buy a nice house in Los Angeles and San Diego, and, do all of these amazing things, and even get all of this acknowledgement, all this approval. But they're saying that's not is what is going to matter when you pass away. What you will remember, and what people will remember you for, is the actual impact that you made on yourself, your family, the people around you, your clients, right? The people that you interact with, right? People will remember the memories that you had with them. You will remember the best memories, the experiences that you had, right? And you sure as hell will remember whether or not you lived a emotional quality of life that was amazing, or if it was very stressful and you wish you just were happier. All right? At the end of the day, you're going to look back and it doesn't really matter about how much money you made. It's how much enjoyment did you squeeze out of life? How much impact were you able to make with the people that you interacted with? How many great memories did you have in your life, right? And the things that you find meaningful, right? How much time, how much great, intimate time did you have with your family? And those are all things that are going to be what matters at the end of your life. And so the lesson here is to take ownership of the way that you feel. Right? If you're watching this video and you're reacting and you're saying something outside of you, right? Something outside of you is making you happy. That means you're just letting go of your power. And this is the next slide here I'm going to end off with, is abdication of power. Abdication is losing your power. Right? Why do we lose our power? And this is a very, very important topic, because when you lose your power, you are now a victim to the things outside of your control. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? If you lose your power, if you abdicate your power, which means to let go of or to lose, if you abdicate your power, you are now becoming a victim to things that you cannot control. I don't know about you guys. I do not want to be a victim to things I can't even control. All right? But the thing is, we have 60,000 thoughts in a day. 60,000, right? 95% of those are subconscious, are unconscious, right? And are just in our belief system. 95% of the 60,000 thoughts that you do not in a week or a month or a year, 60,000 thoughts in a matter of 24 hours. That's how many thoughts you have. And 95% of that is subconscious. So that means that if your thoughts create your reality, right? If your thoughts create your feelings determine the behaviors that you do, the behaviors then, make up your experience. Well, guess what? You're probably doing the same exact thing that you were doing yesterday. You're probably having the same exact experience that you had yesterday. And you're reacting to the same things. And so some questions you can ask yourself is like, first off, if 95% of my 60,000 thoughts throughout a day, it might fluctuate up and down, but if 95% of that is unconscious, then, would it be safe to say that 95% of your emotional reactions are unconscious, are automatic, that you don't even sometimes want to feel anxiety, fear, or insecurity, but because it's unconscious, because it's automatic, you're abdicating your power, right? So, and another question is like, how in control are we of the way that we feel? Like, actually, if you're frustrated, do you have the skills? Do you have the skill sets, to be honest? Like, if you're frustrated, do you have the skill sets to be able to be calm and peaceful? Are you able to let go of being frustrated? A lot of people, you see them walking around for years just with this like tense feeling, and that's their personality. And that because they think the thoughts, they have the feelings, and the feelings bring up more of those thoughts that align with somebody that's frustrated, and that becomes their personality. And and then when they meet Joe, they're like, Joe's a very frustrated guy. He's a very angry person. Joe doesn't want to feel that way. I'm sure if I had a real conversation with Joe, he wouldn't want to feel that way anymore, right? And so a lot of us guys, we're in this like matrix of just feeling the same feelings that we felt when we were a kid, when we were a teen, when we were developing ourselves in our 20s, all right? And it was very automatic. And the power, the way that we get back our power is to start to realize that we are in the driver's seat. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're driving a Lambo, we're driving a Porsche, we gotta have this like huge machine, right? Our brain is absolutely insane. It's like, You can't even compare it to a Lambo. That's how insane it is. It can create so many things, guys. We have so much potential, but we give it all away, right? We give it all away. We abdicate our power whenever we say that things outside of us are controlling the way that we feel, right? She's making me mad. What is that? What is that? What does that mean? She's making you mad. No one can make you mad. You're making yourself mad by the thoughts that you have about that person. This client's making me frustrated. Just the terminology, right? Because a lot of the words that we speak it unconsciously because, again, our thought patterns, the way that we feel, right? It's all unconscious. And so when we say small things like, this client's making me frustrated right now, how often do you say that to yourself? This client's making me very frustrated. This person's making me very frustrated. This guy gets me annoyed. This guy's annoying me right now. Right? What are you saying, guys? You're saying that somebody's outside of you, has nothing to do with you, maybe you just met them, is making you feel annoyed? You want to go your whole life walking around, talking to people, and then feeling annoyed? No. It doesn't make any sense. And so the work here, guys, is that you want to control the way that you feel, right? That way, if somebody is being angry at you or mad at you, or they're poking your holes or your buttons, the work is being able to realize that you're in a driver's seat. Look at all of this unconscious behaviors and feelings and thoughts and be able to take back control, take back the power. The more you do this, the more power you're going to have, the more things you're going to be able to create in your life. And it's absolutely beautiful. And I'm still doing this work. I'm in the progress. Of finding out, like, what is all this? I realize I feel a lot of insecurity, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, and I'm just taking the time to do the work, to take control of the way that I feel and regain power. Okay? So, let's just take this example and then we'll finish off the video here. This example, this client is making me frustrated. Right? If you have an example, guys, I think the best way for us to do this is like think about a time that, like, in the past 3 days, maybe yesterday, maybe today, that you had an emotional reaction. And let's do a negative one because that's usually where a lot of this stuff comes up. And I just think about a time that a negative feeling that you had in the past, like 2 or 3 days, maybe yesterday, that you kind of put on somebody else. Like, this person made me feel this way. So once you have that memory, right, this client made me frustrated, or this person got me annoyed, or this certain situation that happened, 2 days ago made me feel a certain way. Bring up a negative experience that you said basically with your words and the way that you thought, consciously or unconsciously, that something outside of you was making you feel a certain way. Okay? Now let's break this down, right? So let's use this example. This client's making me frustrated. You can use your example. Something outside of us is making us feel a certain way. Now, if we break this down, behind this thought, there's a power that is being given up. All right, and I told you guys that. This client is making me, this person, this situation, my bank account is making me feel stressed. My financial situation is getting me stressed. The debt that I have is making me stressed. The fact that I'm not able to perform at my career is making me stressed, right? There's a power being given up. You're saying, because of my outside circumstance that I do not control, I can affect it, but I cannot control it, right? There's a power being given up. So the true meaning is that something outside of me is making me feel frustrated. And that's another meaning, is like a client or something outside of me making me feel turn me into an emotion, right? When we say this client's making me mad, what are we saying? We're saying that this client is making me mad. Yeah, well, you can't be an emotion. You're not mad. You're not an emotion. You're feeling an emotion, right? So that's also like a deeper way that we can go into this, because the more you can break down the words that you tell yourself, like this is making me mad. You're identifying with this emotion of mad, when in actuality you're just gonna feel mad, right? You're not gonna be mad. You're not mad. Like, that's not your name, right? But the more we get into this identity of I'm mad, right? What do? We start playing all the emotions. Like, body language gets mad. Our tonality gets mad. The way that we feel gets mad. And that's what we're doing. We turn into that personal reality, and that becomes a personality. So you're not emotion, right? Catch the words you guys tell yourself. Client is making me mad. Client is making me annoyed. No, they're making you feel annoyed. But that's not even true. Because if you flip this around, or dig in it a little bit deeper here, it's not that the client is making you feel mad, right? Because this client, the same exact client, if you talk somebody that was maybe a monk, and this client reacted the same way, had the same relationship, everything kind of turned out the same way, and you put that situation to somebody else, like a monk, I'm just using a monk as an example, they don't have to feel the way that you feel. And so in that case, it's not actually the person or the thing outside of you or your situation or your circumstance that's making you feel a certain way. It's your own perception, it's your own thoughts, it's your own beliefs about that thing outside of you that's making you feel this way. That's so important. Let me say that again. So it's not that things outside of you, right? Because a lot of the times, guys, we say, oh, this event's making me stressed out, or this person's making me annoyed, or this, my looks, the way that I look is making me feel insecure. That's a very common one, right? Or the way that I talk is making me feel uncomfortable. Or this person is not accepting me and that's making me feel worse about myself. If you dig deep, guys, dig deep, you find out that there's no way that could happen. That's false. That way of thinking is old. No one's making you feel any sort of way. The power is yours. The power is yours. And it's not that person. Because the more you guys do that, and that's what we're addicted to, right? Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this. We're very addicted to the feelings that we feel on a daily basis. Why? Because it's unconscious. And so our body is actually wanting to feel this way. This is how we feel comfortable. We feel comfortable when we can blame things outside of us to then feel the feelings that we're so addicted to. It's more addicting than drugs. And so if you can start to take the courage to not feel the things that you're so used to feeling, that's when change happens. And so again, dig deep and realize, and this is a conscious practice, right? Whenever you guys feel like, okay, I'm abdicating my power, I'm saying that something outside of me is making me feel a certain way, start to make it a conscious effort to say, okay, it's actually not that situation that's making me feel a certain way. It's my own perception. It's my own perspective. It's my own thoughts and beliefs about this situation, about this something outside of me that's making me feel the emotion. Insert emotion. And again, to even go more specific, guys, right? Because this can go very specific. And the more specific you can get, the more you can poke the holes and find the truth that lies in all of this, right? So to be more specific, my thoughts and feelings when this client acts this certain way is what makes me feel frustrated. You see what I did there? Because when we say my thoughts and beliefs about this client, we're saying just the client. But sometimes it's not even a client. Like we have friends that we get annoyed with. We say, oh, he's making me annoyed. But it's not that every time he's making you annoyed, right? It might just be a certain thing that he does or a certain way that he acts towards you that makes you feel frustrated, right? So it's an aspect, right? And that's how we can kind of break apart the belief, is when we get very specific. So we could say, we understand that it's not the client, because sometimes we love the client. But sometimes when he acts this way, this is when I feel frustrated. So my thoughts and feelings when this client acts this certain way is what makes me feel frustrated. The more you can make this a conscious effort of rewiring the way that you interpret things, rewiring literally your brain chemistry to say that, wow, wait, actually, this thought pattern that's like kind of running, that's saying that, something outside of me is making me feel a certain way, that's not correct. And when you start to do, guys, it's a really eye-opening experience, because you're like, my whole life I've been saying that, I've been believing, and maybe you might conceptualize this, but it's not until you actually feel it where it's like, wow, like
I can feel myself wanting to blame this outside circumstance. Or, I can feel myself wanting to say that this is responsible for making me feel the way that I'm feeling right now. And when you can make the conscious effort through training, through practicing, because that's all it is, it's just doing this more times to get better, you start to then realize, holy shit, and you feel what it would feel like to take control. To take control of your life. This is taking control of your life, guys. You get this down. You are unstoppable. You are limitless. There is no limit when you get this down, when you understand this concept, when you actually live and breathe the fact that you are going to get your power back. That's when you can create. That's when it's no more forcing, it's more power. That's when things are coming to you, for you, instead of happening to you, against you, right? People, relationships, things will come your way when you take the power back, guys. The world will respond. We need more people to be able to go through this realization and actually practice this, because this is what is going to create a better environment, a better world. Okay? So that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a different type of content. If you've been watching my content for a little bit now, I've been talking about appointments and organic outbound and all of this. And this work is truly what I find meaning and purpose in. So I want to share more of these things. Everyone have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.